Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in a previous video I had mentioned that my skin was getting really oily for some reason, especially now in the winter time when it's supposed to be its driest. For some reason my T-zone is acting up and it's always oily. So I mentioned that in a previous video and a lot of you guys were really nice and helpful and kept sending me messages on different mattifying primers that you guys all like. So I decided to look up the primers that you guys had suggested to me and did a little research and figured that I would just do a battle of the mattifying primers. So the two that I picked up were two that were on everyone's list and they just rated really high on the Sephora website, and I am talking about the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer as well as the BECCA Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector. So I picked these two up in hopes that one of them can control my oils throughout the day. I have tried mattifying primers before and they always scare me because most of them are silicone based, and my skin is allergic to silicone. I break out immediately as soon as I put that product on. So I picked these two up in hopes that they don't break me out, because the BECCA one is a water-based primer and the Hourglass one is a mineral-based primer. So hopefully they don't break me out. And just as an FYI, you're gonna see me look completely different with a different makeup look and an outfit when I put these products on for the first time, because I had originally planned just doing a first impressions, just one day testing, but I figured that's not going to be the most accurate. If I'm going to do the experiment the right way, I wanted to make it last at least 3 days to a full week, and I have the results. I have which one I like better. So if you want to see how these performed and how they last on me throughout the day, and as well as my first impressions, then please just keep on watching. So these are the two primers we're going to be testing out today. I have the BECCA Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector, which claims to be 12-hour shine control. And then I also have the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer with SPF 15, and it is oil free. I'm going to apply the BECCA one on the right half of my face and the Hourglass one on the left side. So we'll start out with the BECCA one. I just got the smaller size just in case I didn't like it. I didn't want to have to invest and pay for the full price one. And this one, when I was doing research, people had very specific instructions on how to apply this to make it work to its best and full potential. So let's see, it says warm a pea-sized amount in hands and pat onto areas of concern. Obviously, if you were doing this for your whole face, you would definitely concentrate in your T-zone area. That's where most people get oily. But since I'm doing half my face, I'm just going to pat half of my T-zone with this. So I'm not going to squeeze out a full-size amount because I'm only going to put it on half my face. So I'm going to do half a pea size, which is this tiny little amount. And I'm going to follow the instructions, warm it up in my hands. And people definitely said do not rub this into your skin, definitely put it on in a patting motion. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. It doesn't smell like anything, it doesn't feel too thick. I'm also going to put this right onto my forehead, because Lord knows that's where lawn gets oily. And I'm really liking that it has no scent to it. So if you're sensitive to strong scents in makeup products, this is great. And it sets in really nicely. I don't feel it being tacky anymore, even on my fingers. It definitely doesn't feel like a silicone-based primer, which is good for my skin. But if you're someone who likes that silicone kind of slick feeling, this one might not be for you. So it says to apply this and then leave on for 10 minutes before you apply your foundation. So while this one is setting, I'm going to put the Hourglass one on. The directions for the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer is very similar to directions you would see on a sunscreen, because it does have an SPF of 15 in it, which is great because you always want to protect your skin. It just says to apply liberally 15 minutes before sun exposure, use a water-resistant sunscreen, blah blah blah, reapply every 2 hours. So it doesn't really have instructions on the makeup side of it, so I'm just going to apply, obviously not a full pump, I'm just going to do half a pump. And this one comes out more white, so let's see. This one doesn't smell like anything either. I'm just going to apply this to my problem areas, which is nose, cheeks, chin, and forehead. and this definitely has that silicone feel. So it's been about 15 minutes since I've applied both primers, so I'm just going to do my foundation, finish up with the rest of my face, and then I will be right back to give you guys a little bit of information on both primers. So I will be right back. So let's get into the details about what these primers claim to do, how much they are, and just a little bit of information before you splurge, because both of these are kind of on the higher end spectrum when it comes to makeup, so they're a little bit more pricey, and I just want you guys to get your money's worth. So we'll start out with the BECCA primer first. I just got the travel size. This retails for $15, and there is 0.4 fluid ounces in it. The full-size item, or the full-size product, is 1.35 ounces for $36. So I just wanted to test this out, and I felt a little bit better than spending the whole $36 and just spending $15 in case I didn't like it or my skin broke out or was allergic to it. So I'm just going to read to you guys what this primer claims to do and what it's about. It says this oil control primer acts as liquid blotting paper to leave your skin matte and perfected for up to 12 hours. So I am going to be wearing my full face today for at least 12 hours just to test out this primer's claim alone. So we'll see how it lasts for 12 hours, whether my skin gets oily, my makeup is fading. So we will be testing that out for sure. The Sephora website says that, let's see, this product eliminates excess oil for long-lasting matte skin. This formula is sweat and humidity resistant and free of silicone, oil, alcohol, and fragrance, which is amazing for anyone who, like myself, is allergic to silicone-based products in general, especially primers. I feel like the best primers and the cult favorites are all silicone-based. I love the L'Oreal Miracle Blur. I love the Benefit Porefessional, but they're both silicone-based, so I can't use it. And definitely BECCA was one of the top ones that I was researching that wasn't silicone based. So I'm really excited about this. I hope it works for my oily skin, because it would be amazing to find a primer that lasts for 12 hours and isn't silicone based. So that was just a little bit of information about the BECCA primer. Obviously you can get it from their website or Sephora. There are two sizes, like I mentioned before. This is the travel size, which I think is great because you need just the tiniest amount to put on your face for it to absorb and work. So this is gonna last me quite a while. And again, make sure that you pat this primer on as opposed to rubbing it in. I heard there was just really bad results when you rub the primer in as opposed to pat it into your skin. And the only thing I'm worried about this regarding breaking me out is that it is a thicker consistency of a primer. You have to be really careful to get all the product out of your skin before you go to bed if you don't want to break out. So next we have the HOURGLASS Mineral Veil Primer, and this is an oil-free primer. I did get the whole 1 fluid ounce bottle of this. It comes in 3 different sizes, which is really convenient depending on whether you're just newly using this or if you are a cult, follower and you love it. They do have it in 3 sizes. They have a 0.33 ounce for $18, the 1 ounce is $52, and the 2 ounce is $72. Let's see, it says that this is a mineral-based, water-resistant primer that neutralizes the skin, minimizes shine, and creates a smooth, uniform canvas for flawless makeup application. It is formulated without parabens, sulfates, and that's not even a word. How do you pronounce that? I'm just gonna leave the word right here because, let's see, this water-resistant primer is also 100% free of fragrance, oil, and gluten. That's interesting. It doesn't say anything about being a silicone-based primer. It is a mineral-based primer, but I'm noticing that silicone-y slick feeling when I applied it on my skin, and I'm reading the ingredients and it does have polysilicone 11 in it, which I assume is some form of silicone. It is 8:13, I don't know if you can see that, in the morning right now. I do have a full day ahead of me. I'm filming another video after this one, so I'm going to be sitting under these bright and really hot lights for at least another 3 hours. So that's going to test out if these are sweat proof. Then after I'm done filming, I'm taking out my nieces to the zoo with my cousin, which is really exciting. So I'm going to be outside exposed to the sun, the wind. I think it's high 60s today, but it's really sunny outside. It's just a gorgeous day. So it's like the perfect day to test out mattifying products today. So I'm going to check back in with you guys around midday, and then definitely again at the end of the night when I get home. I'm seriously going to be wearing this foundation for more than 16 hours today. So we'll see how the primer's held up. It is 12:15 in the afternoon, so I've had this on for about 4 hours. And so far my foundation looks the same. My blush and bronzer is still on, which is good because I was dying under my hot lights. But I do notice a little bit of oiliness around my nose area on the BECCA side, so I don't know what that's about. So I am checking back in. It is about 5:15 in the afternoon, and my foundation is okay. The blush and bronzer has worn off a little bit, more so on the BECCA side. I don't know if I was touching this side more, but it's looking a little bit more splotchy than the Hourglass side. You can definitely still see my contour on that side. Oily wise, I think they're both pretty similar. I'm getting a little bit oily on my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, and that's pretty much it, which is pretty impressive because usually it's my entire nose, my chin, the sides of my cheeks, and my forehead gets really oily. And the redness on my nose is coming through, which is normal because I'm constantly touching and wiping my nose. So it's pretty impressive that foundation has lasted this long. So obviously this is a completely different and new day. That first day was just kind of a mess and a little bit more disorganized than I had planned it to be. When I got home, I was just too tired. I couldn't film, and the Hourglass one broke me out, so I just wanted to scrub my face, put a mask on it, and start treating that pimple immediately. So instead of doing the first impression that I had originally planned and just wearing these two primers for one day, I decided to make it last longer because I noticed that I had my hair split this direction, and for some reason the BECCA side was coming off a lot quicker, and I figured because I am right-handed, so subconsciously I'm just always touching the right side of my face more, and because my hair was parted this way, it was rubbing onto my face and messing up the foundation. So I decided the next day I was just gonna wear my hair split in the middle so it's even on both sides. I've come to my conclusion and I have a favorite, and the BECCA one definitely wins and blows the Hourglass one out of the waters. Not only did it last longer on me, it really mattified my skin. The Hourglass one did a great job at mattifying my skin. I looked dewy but not oily, and my foundation and makeup and powder products stayed in place all day. But the BECCA one just really kept me matte, which is what I'm looking for in a mattifying primer. I don't want to look dewy by midday. That obviously just means that the oils are breaking through. Not as much if you weren't wearing the primer, but dewiness means oils are breaking through, which is what I didn't want. So the BECCA one definitely mattified my skin better. My T-zone was really manageable. I didn't look dewy. My makeup lasted all day long with both primers, but just the mattifying aspect of these two primers, the BECCA one definitely kept me matte longer. Another reason for why I love the BECCA one more is probably the #1 reason. It didn't break me out. Even though the Hourglass one claims to be mineral based, there are silicone products in this. Even on the first day that I wore the Hourglass primer on this side of my face, by the end of the day I saw breakouts, and that's how sensitive my skin is to silicone. It breaks out immediately. So it was just a mess, and putting it on again the next day, I really had to decide whether I wanted to just extend this experiment any longer, but for the sake of the experiment and being honest, I did wear it for the rest of the week. And yes, it completely kept breaking me out the more that I wore it. I cringed every time I had to put this on my skin. That silicone feel gives me anxiety. So I am one happy girl that the experiment is over now and that I found a new Holy Grail primer. This one did everything that it claimed to be. It is 12-hour oil control. It kept my makeup on all day. I've worn my makeup the other day for 14 hours. I went to work wearing this whole experiment face, and it kept me matte. It kept my makeup looking really nice and fresh even until the wee hours of the mornings when I get off my shift. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys found this helpful. By no means am I bashing the Hourglass one. If it didn't break me out, I would love them equally. They performed great for me. Mattifying, keeps the makeup on all day. It just broke me out, which is not something that I want in a makeup product if I have to wear it every single day. So by no means am I bashing the Hourglass one. It's a great primer, but this one did its job. It's cheaper than the Hourglass ones. I hope you guys liked this little experiment, and I hope you guys found this video helpful. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.